Senator John McGahon, please. 5 minutes.
Super. Yeah, thank you, Lasky Hirlock. And again, just same as I did last year with the budget, I want to focus on some of the climate action measures that have been initiated today. A number of weeks ago, in the Minister, I got up in the House and I said I was quite worried about a report that had come out from the Department of Finance about plans to increase and to look at VRT, and electric vehicles were included in that. But I'm really happy to see the government today realise that the importance of extending the VRT on electric vehicles until the end of 2023. And at the time I actually raised the concept of Finland. Finland has actually seen a massive uptake in electric vehicles in the space of 3 to 4 years because they introduced so many financial measures as a country. They actually imposed an eco-tax as well on diesel and petrol. And they've made it as a country, they've made it to get to the stage where that it's financially insane not to be driving an electric vehicle if you're living in Finland at the moment. The other thing that they've done, and I'd really like to see something like this in the budget for next year perhaps, is a huge amount of money going towards improving and creating even further, and we have a substantial there, but a really dedicated financial strategy towards improving our electric vehicle charging systems, particularly in our major cities like Dublin, Cork and Galway. I think when you can, I think when we have substantial funding put behind that, it'll make the shift into electric vehicles more easier. The retrofit scheme today again is extremely impressive, and 202 million, which is going to retrofit 20,000 homes in the next year, is really important. And I've seen in my own county of Louth where 2 million has been given to the local authority and they've started retrofitting homes already, and I'm seeing how well that's going up front. The other thing about apprenticeships, and we saw this in relation to higher education as well. Like my concept of apprenticeships, and we're doing it at the minute as a government, is apprenticeships. You know, you don't need to go to college, and we need to show people that an apprenticeship is an equally good chance of a career, an equally good chance of getting a good salary, an equally good chance for your future too. And we're actually, and for whatever reason in this country in the last 10 or 15 years, that wasn't the case. But I'm really, really pleased to see that that's what we're doing with apprenticeships. And those apprenticeships will feed in hugely into our retrofit scheme with the amount of green jobs that we're going to be creating for people with the retrofitting that's going to go on. The other point I'd like to make is in relation to the youth travel card and the 25 million towards that for people between the age of 17 and 25. Again, an excellent initiative, a really good initiative. It's a really progressive way of getting people onto public transport while at the same time saving them money. It's a scheme that I would love to see be included in a wider aspect at some stage in the future. And while we're on the concept of travel cards, I think it would be remiss of me not to mention the concept of a 3-day tax saver ticket for commuters. And as you'll be aware yourself at the minute, as a result of 1997 legislation, we're only allowed to have tax saver tickets on a monthly or an annual basis. Last week, the Minister for Finance, Paschal Donoghue TD, was able to provide me with clarity to say that we won't need a legislative change, and instead what we'll be able to do in that is introduce something like a 100-day tax saver ticket. So what I would really appreciate, Minister, is if you're between yourself and other officials that you can go back to the NTA to clarify with them, to show that clarity that a legislative change is not needed, and as a result there should be no delay with introducing a simple ticket that's going to save commuters money that we've known is going to be needed for a considerable period of time until now. In relation to green hydrogen and hydrogen, it's really important to see hydrogen is there in the budget today, that the government recognises that. A hydrogen strategy is absolutely needed, and hopefully that will be published soon enough in the Climate Action Plan, which is due to be published imminently by government. So, all in all, and to try and conclude on this, this is a very much, when we look at some of the points that we've made there, this budget, as all budgets in the last couple of years, have been a very progressive budget. There is a huge amount of money has gone into this, but it's money that's been well spent in a smart way, in a very strategic way, and in relation to climate action, you can see that. It's really been commended for the work that Minister Donoghue and Minister McGrath and their officials have done in this. And like I said, it's important to see so many green initiatives in this budget. It's important to see so much funding. When you see that over 360 million towards active travel, towards greenways, there's so much funding in this budget that is aimed towards getting people out of their cars, aimed towards getting people into active travel, whether it's cycling, the safe access to schools as well. Really, really important stuff. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to make any headlongness with tackling the climate crisis, it has to be done in a financially viable way that it makes it as financially accessible for people to do so from every sector of society. And I think we're able to make sure that people are able to do that when you see the money that we're putting into the climate crisis in this type of a budget. Please switch. as well, Chair.